and that starts it, and then a quick tap stops it. I'll give you the cues for it. See if it worked. Yep, you're good. Same on you. So once I actually get through the history on this one, I'll get you to unmute. You almost have the same cue as the cameras. Okay. Wow, that's a good old skunk. Hit your start button if you want to as well. All right, so welcome to a parking lot, everybody. I told you I'd take you to weird spots around town. This place used to be something. For all you communication device people, again, Ouija board, digital word list, and spirit boxes. This is where I start withholding information on purpose, so you guys aren't looking for certain things. I will not be giving you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the big red barn, just so you guys have that kind of train of thought. So kind of keep in mind with, of course, I give the smallest camera to the tallest guy. We got people walking by too, so normally I just say go down to the belly shot when we have people walking by. Especially tall guys like him. Who brought this guy? Oh yeah, it was his idea. That's right. That's right. He brought the rest of you. So this space used to be relevant to the history of Charleston, which is exactly why we're here. So some of this history, based on the age group that we have, I may breeze through some of it so you guys can actually get to work. I know history can be long, and I don't want these guys to feel like they're not on vacation and at school. So let's kind of get to it. This place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. The mansion used to sit in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across. We are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case nobody was paying attention. That's exactly why we look for secondary clues, so I know which Charles is here, and that way we know how to address him appropriately. Hopefully you guys are seeing the point on that. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all of you combined. So we're going to move on. If I do not give those gentlemen that recognition, they will do it for me in a spirit box in a very nasty manner, and you guys don't need to hear their tone of voice when they do that. So I usually give them that recognition, and we move on to Eliza. She has a much better story anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from, like 12 and 14, when young ladies got married. Think of today's standards. Reason why? The husband was over double her age when they married. I'm giving you guys some clues of what to look for if you guys haven't picked up on that. Now, she married him because her father was over in England, where they're from. The father thinks he's dying, trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put right here and got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet, so it wasn't a thing. She married him out of true love. This is a true love story, believe it or not. There's nothing horrific about this location, which is part of the reason why we start off our night. Now, try to be respectful when we do separate, just so you know, because all activity will stop if you are not respectful to Miss Eliza. She's a prominent English woman. Back to Eliza. She was correct. Dad did not die right away, and instead he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye, that makes your blue jeans blue. Only one person is wearing it here tonight, just so you guys know. Good job. Way to give me the example. But when she got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with it because it's not always hot here. She had to learn how to keep it going. So she learned it from the slaves, learned how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of her dad overseas and told him that the rice plantations are going downhill, and we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. It's something absolutely unheard of. That's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. So, with all the spirit boxes, I'm going to give you guys a set of focus questions. You can either say these things out loud or just focus on them. There's no right or wrong way to do this. So we are going to work with, let's kind of start off things nice and simple. So, Kinzie and, no, Kinley. Thank you.
Sorry, Lily 3.
Lily 3, get back in line. So, Kinley and Erika, you guys are going to have the same set of questions simply because Eliza that I just told you about is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. You're going to be looking for Eliza's full initials. They both have the same set of initials. ELP. Let me know if you see those letters in that order.
That shows you.
That's why. Get your sensitivity back up. So you're going to be looking for the maiden name because the first wife named Eliza also had a maiden name that started with the letter L. I'm not going to tell you what either one of those are. So hopefully you're going to be able to find out by using the device that you're using. So Tony, you're going to be up next. Your spirit box likes to give us 1 to 2 syllables at a time. The mansion's not here anymore. In fact, there's a bunch of SUVs and trucks where it used to sit. You can ask Eliza what happened to it. If you get the what, you will often get the when. That means the date. 2 or 3 numbers out of the date. So very specific numbers. The 2 red spirit boxes. So that would be Miss Berlin and Maya. You guys are going to have the same set of questions as well. based on the type of spirit boxes that you have. Your spirit boxes, you can ask her about his death. So that's where things really open up for the type of spirit box that you have. The 4 major things that we get answers to: how did you die? How old were you when you died? Where are you buried? Which president was a pallbearer at your funeral? Do you know what the pallbearer is, Berlin?
Nope.
Okay, so a funeral. The people that carry the coffin to the grave, they're called pallbearers. Okay, so a president did that for Miss Eliza. So very important lady. So I think I've got everybody covered on all of the questionnaires, so that's good. We are going to spread out. We're going to stay away from the vehicles as much as possible, especially those of you with cameras. Please do not go in between vehicles. People get really weirded out when we're here. I'll do 1 or 2 round robins with everybody to kind of see what's going on with your devices, take a few notes, and then I'll round us up back here and give you all of the answers. Let's see, who I need to keep behind. So the 2 lilies, I need to kind of show you a little bit more about that EMF. Have you had any numbers out of that?
Yeah.
What numbers did you get?
2.6.
Okay, so you have a 2.6. Now you're not going to give me anything below that, so you're going to keep it going up. Lily number 2, did you get anything out of yours? You also had a 2.6. Okay, that's good. So that's good to know. All right, guys, let's spread out. So I'm going to keep Kinley behind now, so I can show her how to operate that thing a little bit further. Again, everybody spread out. Tony, go ahead and get unmuted. Let's get to work, everybody. I knew you were going to ask that. So you're going to be
How did you die?
Yep.
When did you die? What president was one of the pallbearers? Are you going to know?
How old?
Where were you buried?
Yeah, where are you buried? No.
How did you die? Wait.
Okay. Or at your funeral. Okay. You carried your coffin at your wedding.
Oh.
Okay. Or at your funeral. Okay. How did you die? How old were you when you died? Yeah, go for it.
That was something. Okay. How did you die? Where were you buried?
What happened?
What's the 50.9?
So tell him.
I assume that's just me like hitting a car, right?
I don't
remember
know.
their
You
names?
can ask.
What was the girl?
Eliza, and then there's the Charles. Both of them were they signed the South Carolina Constitution.
So Eliza.
Yeah. Where did you get it?
We got it like over in the
It was like a 50.
We weren't on a car. We were in the middle right there.
I was like talking to them, I was telling them our life story. I was like, okay, we're the lilies, we're identical twins, we're one of the I got 3.3.
Aren't y'all supposed to tell him?
Yeah. Can we go talk to him? Come on, twin.
Mansion's not here.
Is it talking to you?
It has. All I've really understood is the word, like, the number 3, the number 11, and the number 27.
But tell them to get away with it. No, I'm not gonna.
So they keep getting temperature changes right there. I don't remember. It sees things that we can't see.
Like the LED.
Yeah. Aw.
Oh, no, it's a 10 out of 10.
Use the word home. What happens to your home?
I just have 4 numbers. 43569. 5 numbers. 43569.
What numbers did you get?
32.
27, 3, and 11.
I don't know. I got no numbers and now what? I know. I had no numbers.
What
the entire
happened
time,
to
and I
your
got a
home?
bunch of them. What did I say it was? I need your help or I want your help?
Are you understanding anything?
No. Did you have a garden here? Back?
Was the garden in the back? When did you lose your garden?
What did you grow in your garden? You're good.
Yeah, look at you. Nice and slow. Love it.
Just
I know. Nice
kind of following people around.
Fractured hip, we're staying alive. What? Fractured a hip, but we're staying alive. Fractured a hip, we're staying alive. Eliza, how did you die? I got blood.
What happened to your home?
Alright, let me see. What else we got going on here? So, Tim, have you seen anything? Nothing out of the ordinary? Between you and Brittany, correct? I think
Yes.
that's right? Okay, I just want to make sure I got between your two cameras. I don't always follow up with you two in real time because your screens are so small. I send these videos to YouTube so I can watch them on a large computer screen. You guys are going to be able to watch them on your TV. So if I'm following up with the communication devices a little bit more, videography is not always the most exciting job out here, but I also didn't want to bore the kids. You guys got the point, right?
Gotcha.
But feel free to intermingle your devices among the people that you guys came with. And you're a large party. Have fun with this.
Okay.
How's our word list coming?
Spirits.
Yeah. I look at that as drinks. We're still near the ball.
Okay. I had one more thing. When I said, where are you buried? That was my other thing that I had. When
Let's bring everybody to the back.
she definitely has nothing, but I can't even what the happy song. Yeah, happy.
Alright. Actually, have we gotten any numbers? What did we get? Alright, so I'm going to put back on mute so I can cover the answers to what's going on here. So, any other words to here? Sorry, what I want to bring. I like it. So I'm excited about the name Tommy that showed up and the phrase fractured hip, the number 27 and the number 11 that showed up. By the way, if you have a camera, take your hand and brake, hit the stop button. That way you guys.
Those other people are doing it?
do with cameras, by the way, is we want you guys to try to get the partners so nice and low. When that group over there leaves, we're going to actually sit down a little bit so I'm on the other side of the air conditioning. So you're going to keep that in mind. So talk to me. We'll be here along the way. Nothing? Because you were talking yourself, weren't you? Yeah.
But I was listening. I heard the word believer come up.
Okay, so you have the word believer. Mom was just talking about skeptics over there? Yeah. So, what do you got? You hear anything?
There was music coming out, and I was asking, "Are you singing? Can you tell me a story?" And then like more music was playing.
I can kind of see where you're going with that, but I want words.
Yeah, it wasn't. I couldn't clearly make out a word.
I got like Kinzie, and then right before we turned left on Sally, I got left.
We get a lot of directional, like turn here kind of stuff when we're kind of entering the houses. So, this is the most that gets us to go to purple, by the way. What are the last two or three times you have on the list? Where did it get heat? Was it closer back there?
It was after walking.
Okay, got it. So let's get you back up. Can you tell me if we got covered this right here? Okay. Sorry, we'll see if you have one. Did you have any? So welcome to Philadelphia Alley. Remember, we're going to be in here. I'm going to stir things up. We're going to get a lot of so here's how this goes. They're all telling the same story. I'm just going to give you a few extra details. These are those cutscenes. Just keep me in mind where it's all going to go alongside of this, right? So here's how it goes. They're all telling the same deal. The doctor was down here from Rhode Island. His name was Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Those of you listening to Spirit Boxes right now, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. We get it here all the time because it's part of his name. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, yes. Brown Eyed Girl.
You're my brown-eyed girl.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure.
Who brought this kid? Yours? Yeah.
I couldn't find anywhere to hide.
Anyway, Dr. Ladd moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all this cash that she just got. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He comes to Charleston from Rhode Island to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. So on his way into town, he actually had a coachman, kind of like an Uber. That coachman sent him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to the stay here. So somebody walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs. He was stopped there. Ralph Isaacs has the same initials as where the doctor came from.
That was a rat.
Ralph Isaacs. What'd you get?
A rat.
Oh, that's Remy.
Oh, he's good?
He works here.
Okay.
He works here.
His name is Remy. Oh my god, Dilly. What do you think I think? Oh god.
So now you're not afraid of him. See how that works? He's gonna make us think.
Well, I said it so that we know when we see something on here, we know it's him.
Yeah.
That way it's not.
It was all audio for you?
Sure.
And you're just giving us markers?
Yep.
Got it.
There you go.
So, back to Ralph Isaacs. The reason why I have picked this device, no. I'm getting it right?
Yeah.
This is kind of romance. She's like hiding. The reason why I'm not putting this device is because we were getting the letters RI all the time on the red spirit boxes. I wanted that to verify. So those are the letters I'm looking for in that order of RI. Usually when I bring up God's name, that's when we usually get it. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells Doc, I know this guy. The 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, quite different than what they are now. Secondly, he is a doctor. Probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. But obviously he failed because he died. Now, every one of these tolls that's down here is telling their guests to listen for the whistles. We have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a disembodied whistle, more than likely it's going to come up on one of those 4 devices. Not to mention, we have caught the whistling parts of songs going near spirit boxes and the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. Doctor, we get it all the time. So again, I can't tell you how many times it's actually occurred. And this guy actually likes to follow me around. He's going to show up again at our last location. So I like to lead over to the next stop, and then at our last location, he shows up again. And you're going to see some of those clues like you and I were talking about, Erika, like how we know who's actually there. So again, I don't look for him there. He just likes to poke his head in. This guy's story is being told for the past 50 years. I'm the only one that talks back to him, and he can communicate with us as well, obviously with all the devices that you're using. So, if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through this alley, this is your guys' first day here, and you're going to use the voice recorders from your phones, because I can't take you all the way to the end. I'm going to explain I've been kicked out of here. That's actually the fun part of the story, by the way, because he got me. But anyway, so just remember, every local knows this story. Even during the daytime, anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Main Street, we all whistle down this alley. We all do it. Just got to keep that in mind. So I'm talking about how I actually have thrown out, because I always throw a whistle down this alley whenever I pass it, especially since I got moved out of here. Somebody's like, what's the next thing on too? Basically, between us and Cumberland Street, there used to be a wall. The reason why is because this used to be called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. They had to keep them penned in. Cows, chickens, and goats were down here. So what does that mean to you guys and why I got kicked out? I used to take my group all the way to the end to show off the sun-dried bricks that are down there for slave trade. And when I say showing it off, there was a history piece. There was nothing paranormal about it. Because again, you guys know how I feel about cemeteries and headstones. The kid's not there staring at that brick with his handprint in it. Because that's what's actually done. Well, handprint from a slave kid. I took my group down there November 26th of 2020. We're going to let this group pass through. You're good, you're good. So I took them down there and all 10 of them, same size as you guys, was huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen because that kid's not there. Well, I'm also trying to be respectful because we're outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. The new owner of that mansion came up to age at the time, thought it was hysterical because her father was getting yelled at. So we just moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I tore on Thanksgiving simply because I used to work for Walmart for over 10 years in upper management, and you all like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving, and have scarred me for life. So I don't work on Thanksgiving anymore. And the next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I had at the time, told him what happened with the neighbor. He laughed at me just like my daughter did and said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway, which is about where that tour group is right now. Simply because it's residential after that. You got to reroute your group. So I told my group that night, I don't believe in the next story because I'm into vampires, not pirates. Obviously, we're talking about pirates next. You should pick up on that. I also didn't tell them which pirates we were going to be discussing. So before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them it was going to be a female pirate, Anne Bonnie, that we were going to be looking for. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe we'll get something. Take them around the corner, told them what I knew about pirates in Charleston. Somebody else heard the number 300 coming out of their spirit box. I didn't know what it meant. I wrote it down. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonnie's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. Just let this very large group pass through, and we'll wrap this location up.
Where are you going? Yeah, you're so right.
My bad. I'm not even joking. Like, that's not but cool.
All the other buildings down here, this building is illegal. I can't find the stories. The doctor. Because he became known as the whistling doctor after he found out his fiance was moving down. It's the 1780s. Men whistled back then when they were jovial people. So again, it is something that we can simply prove that it actually occurred. It's really the only reason why.
Jesus.
I didn't mean to jump up.
You're good. I was over there
taking pictures and then I dropped my phone, so I was looking for it.
I think your group went that way.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Sorry.
Again, the jumpy one over there.
I drink a lot of caffeine, okay?
Yeah, everybody, just so everybody knows. So since we've been here, have we heard anything crazy on our spirit boxes? Seen anything? What do we got going on? People are talking about some rated R pirates. Of course, now that we finally got a full view of it.
I got WTF on mine.
Yeah. I'm sure 1700s ghosts don't know our acronyms today.
Yeah. I got 1300, but that's
number 13 out of that, just because again, your spirit box is slowed down. Like pick up a word or two before, you always have to look for those keywords. Glenn, you got anything?
what?
Never paying
I was
attention.
listening like I was supposed to.
Did you get anything?
No.
Okay. And what are our last 3 or 4 terms since we've been here?
Theme, strategic, sentiment, pencil.
Nothing.
Christopher and Karen were on there for a while. Does that mean anything?
No, not to me it
Nobody you
doesn't.
know?
Names and numbers usually don't lie though, so any name that pops up, I definitely dive into it because we are near a cemetery. By the way, before we leave the space, let's move down a little bit. I want to show you this gate.
I'm just trying to find the honeysuckles. I smell them.
It's right there.
That's
you
not a
have, you have some
honeysuckle.
over there, and then you have some hanging off the fence over there. It's intermixed in here, so if you really like put your nose like deep dive, it's like intertwined somehow. I smell it all the time because this is normally where I stand, but that other tour was like right here, so I was trying not to interrupt them. But it's all along the fence, and we also have an anise tree in here. So like it's kind of like what they make black licorice out of.
Okay.
So
This is really beautiful.
yeah, it is gorgeous. It is one of my favorite spots, by the way. The gate. I also like to point out this gate specifically because it told you the history of this location, of it being Cow Alley, where there's a wall right about where that group is standing. So if there's a loser to the duel down there, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of this wall. Otherwise, they have to go all the way down to Queen Street and then double back with a dead body, which is obviously very heavy, before they can go celebrate the winter with the pint. The wrought iron that you see on this gate actually wasn't here. It was probably put here in the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway above it is actually part of the original wall. I think I was starting to get into, like, there are plenty of other duels that are alleged that have occurred down here, including from other presidents and vice presidents. However, those kind of things are normally hidden out of their history. I was just walking through here once I walked somebody home. I think I was telling you young ladies, I walked somebody back to their Airbnb, and I cut through the alley because I wanted to look for some of the bullet holes. Of course, it's like midnight, and I don't give a shit. There's nobody else down here. So I'm taking pictures of bricks that actually look like they're holes going in at a bullet angle. So again, if you walk through this alley, you can find them. You just got to dig for it. Do we know where the bullets came from specifically? We don't. So that's part of the reason why this is such the fascinating story with this particular location, is because we can prove that this duel actually occurred. So Dr. Ladd was only 22 years old when he passed away, by the way. So again, if anybody who's number 22, that will pop up from time to time. We ready to learn about some crazy pirates?
Yeah.
Maya, did you get anything else? Okay. Well, you guys see what I'm going to do.
How old did he have to be like a doctor back then?
I know, it doesn't seem like he was very old, does it?
Yeah.
Who knows? He probably started his apprenticeship when he was probably like 15 or 16 years old. You have to remember the times. They didn't have the schooling that we have now. So he probably showed some promise when he was in what we would call elementary school. Probably advanced him very quickly just with his knowledge and the way he was able to obtain things. But yeah, he probably started underneath another doctor when he was probably 15 or 16 just learning. He wasn't allowed to do anything, but was just obviously apprenticing. So, but yeah, that's pretty young. You're absolutely right. Good call. All right, rated R pirates. Let's go. Nobody got my dad joke, by the way. I've said it 3 times. Now I have to advance it. So if the letter R is not a pirate's favorite letter, what is it?
Let's see.
It must be the C. Thank you.
Oh.
One night somebody said it must be I. I'm like, no. Elaine, you get anything? Not listening. Tony, did you get anything out of yours?
I don't know. Just now it sounded like it said die.
Did you get anything?
Just like the word rap. Yeah. Like,
Last couple of words, Erika.
Bear, like the animal,
Okay.
both, and wild.
So ladies with the EMF meters, I get excited about 2.5 notifications. I don't want to see a whole lot of anything, so that should be 3 flat zeros. So if you get a 2.5, keep in mind if there are parking meters on the other side of the bushes and 2 lower transformers on the corner. That will give off a little bit and get closer up there. So keep that in mind. Normally it's along the back half if I get excited. We are here simply because who was asking me, is that really a church? That is not a church. She made a good point because those do look like crosses on the building. Am I correct? Those are not crosses. They're earthquake bolts. That is the gunpowder magazine. They held gunpowder for 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. The crosses that you see are earthquake bolts, and basically, if you're not familiar with those because you haven't been on another tour yet here in Charleston, they're turnbuckles. So it looks just like that on the other side. If we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned earlier, you tighten them so the building gets tighter and it doesn't incur any further damage.
That's the smartest thing ever.
But it doesn't work. It's
Oh.
actually pretty stupid.
Never mind.
Californians usually laugh at me,
Sorry.
just so you know. No, it's a good point. I normally say it doesn't work. You guys have seen them all over town already, by the way. Most of our buildings down here have them. Even the apartment building behind here has them on every single floor, just in a different format. The reason I point out the crosses, because it's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We're here simply because that building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. This is what I call a familiar. For those of you that watch TV shows and all the YouTubers, they use a new device called a Boo Buddy. It's basically a teddy bear with that little blinky light device that I pulled out earlier, and they do that to try to attract the child ghost to it because they would recognize it as a toy. Think of that concept with this building. So we don't have any buildings this old. Hopefully we're here at the same time that Anne is. Again, we do have some other buildings, and it's a roll of the dice if she'll be here at the same time as us. That's why we look for the bleed over from Dr. Ladd as well. So the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government adults? 10 years, small building? You guys get the point from our government. It's kind of a joke and nobody got it. So she's looking at me like,
No, I'm watching my kid who just said something.
Definitely be writing that one down. And you can just interrupt me when you guys get numbers like this, by the way. So again, especially at this location, because we're not going to see much. So if you get something, just interrupt me. I'm good with it.
So yeah, I totally blanked on everything you just said because I was watching her.
So the building took 10 years to build. Our history begins right in the middle of its construction. I will slow down on the twist, but I will breeze through everything because there's a lot going on here, and you guys actually want to get back to work. I can see it in everybody's eyes. So 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Everybody with me so far? Okay, the 3 of them running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was that wife that she kicked them out of the damn country? So gents, if you brought your ladies here, it'd be nice for her. She'll pick you all the way up to Canada. And we have planes nowadays. They didn't back then. They came here by boat. So they landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation up there. Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to sell things from the plantation to keep things afloat. Now, take a step back to Ireland just to give you this young lady's mentality. They say when Anne was back home in Ireland, they say she killed a servant when Anne was only 7, 8, or 9 years old. Remember that this is pirate lore. Nothing is ever going to be exact. Kind of keep that in mind. So when she killed a servant at that young age, keep that mentality of her as we move through the rest of our history. Fast forward, the building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. Reason why? She's going to fall in love with one of these guys so she can have her freedom, just like a man. So the first guy she fell in love with, and I said first, kind of slowly, because there's a handful. We're going to cover them all. That's what makes the story so damn good. I mean, you look like you kind of already know this story. Do you know anything
No,
about
no. I keep getting, like, the same song is just repeating, like, 5 times. And it's I am the tiger, and I keep getting I will survive each time.
I heard I am tiger too.
But you also had the word bear, so what was going on with the
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my.
I
I
know.
have some more names.
What do you got?
Eva. And then bring her. That was the first time I took 2 words together.
Yeah, okay. I don't know who Eva is, so I'll definitely dive into the cemetery records, because again, it could be a little bit of a trickle over. We've seen that, but again, I also like the last name. I don't want to say, oh, there's 3 Evas in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want something solidified. What you got?
Daughter and Brittany.
Do you have bring her? Do you have daughter? Yeah, I'm going to have to wait for another clue to kind of verify. There's like 15 stories along this corner that I don't always talk about, unless you guys are hearing weird shit, which is starting to kind of stir up a little bit. And that's a story I definitely don't always tell when I have a whole group of females with me. So if I have to tell it, maybe I'll tell it as we kind of go through this. I'm not going to tell you anything about it, just so you guys aren't looking for things. So back to Anne Bonny. first guy she fell in love with is James Bonnie. You already know where this one's going, right? Because I already told you her pirate name. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. So they ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac became Anne Bonnie. That's where the pirate name came from. When she got down there, she realized her new husband was not the Captain Jack Sparrow that they were hoping for. So this guy turned out to be a privateer. That means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't what she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based the Johnny Depp character off of, in case anybody was wondering. So Jack has his own crew. He has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of the crew. Can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why?
They're bad luck.
Thank you for keeping it family friendly. Appreciate you. I get a lot of nasty answers to that one. I also throw that question out there to make sure you all pay attention, which is good. So they are bad luck, and Jack makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this, because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But she's on the ship, and let's put 2 and 2 together. We're pretty much mostly adults here. She's a female in Jack's quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's got to figure out that she's a girl, and they'll get rid of Jack as captain. They'll vote him off. Before she starts to show her pregnancy, he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby here with these friends of mine. Come back later. We'll figure it out then. She goes and has the baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the baby, by the way. None of my research has ever discovered
Apparently it was eaten alive.
Wow, that's pretty deep. By a bear or a tiger, I suppose. See how these all put together? And they can always make a story out of what's going on. That's why we look for validation. So she does come back without a baby, but she's also dressed like a female. This makes Jack pretty angry because now he's going to know he let a girl on the ship. To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3, in case anybody lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. Now we have 2 females dressed like males on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So, Mary and Anne became friends for sure, maybe lovers, we're not really sure because of the time frame. But the British find out where they are, they send a whole fleet of Navy ships to come take out one pirate ship. Rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlock. They don't know how to use cannon yet. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1 bullet guns cannot handle a whole fleet of Navy ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at Jack, the captain and Bo, and says, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you would be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up in the communication, not bears and lions and tigers, all the time. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried it on Calico Jack and the drunk pirates. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves, and the judge can give a damn. They're female. They are pirates. He's going to hang them. They scream out, "We plead our bellies," which means they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2 with guy number 4. We're going to have 4 kids. Dad's at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know anything about her after her pirate career that's true. So take that for what it's worth. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail. Whenever pirates die from in Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. What's the thing? Fever? I say let's make it romantic. Call it scurvy. Why the hell not? Now, I'm not going to control this environment like what I did at the Pinker Mansion site, out of the respect of who Eliza was. I'm just going to tell you a few things that I left out. Everything else is fair game. You want to ask nasty questions and get answers? Some of it I can prove, some of it I can't. Here's what I left out. I left out the name of Anne Bonnie's parents on purpose, so that you guys have somebody to work with. You know both of their parents' names, that's the father and the mistress, the name of Calico Jack's ship that she joined, the name of the city that Anne grew up in Ireland, and the color of her hair. Everything else is fair game. Again, we're here because of a powder magazine. That would be something she would recognize. With EMF meters, just kind of keep in mind, we have that corner up there with the transformers. You're going to see a little bit of a reading. Just trying to keep that in mind. Alright guys, you all know what you're doing. Let's spread out. Let's have some fun. So, with yours, this wall is not your friend. I'm sorry, I really haven't had a chance to really talk to you about some of the extra things on that camera. Because everybody else said I'm keeping it very, very busy. Now, your camera, obviously, is going to pick up anything with leaves. So, it's always going to make it look like a hangman on the tree. And it does it every time. Because all leaves are in front of another leaf. So, again, the wall of leaves, not a friend. So, make it look like a hangman. It will also pick up on your shadow, especially in this location. It is not a person on the ground, it's you. So, it's because there's an absence of light there. So, it makes it look like there's something else. And again, you kind of got the gist of like if you say something. Another question, with your hand, can you raise your right hand? Like asking something very specific. Can you wiggle your left foot? Can you flip me off? I don't care what you ask her. But that's the kind of the things that we caught with that camera, where we were able to pull it down. But yeah, if you record that, let's have some fun. If she gave you a chance to listen to that spirit box at all, you said you had the headphones on for a split second. She seems like pretty attached to that thing.
She is.
It's actually pretty good. So she,
Yeah, that is.
so she's given so far the best amount of information that I can validate, like that Tommy and fraction good thing. Like I can make sure that she's working on it. So she got a pretty good surprise because she was going to get pointed at you and said that this was your idea.
She grew up in a pretty active house.
Kind of gathered all that as you started up, which is great. That's why I was kind of surprised, but it's really actually first start out.
I just had a purple ball.
Where?
It flew across. I'm assuming it was dust, but
I
it
don't know that.
just went from there up to there. But it was bright purple. Super bright
What's
purple.
nice about when you have it on recording is if it comes from outside the frame and then leaves the frame, 90% of the time it's an insect of some sort.
Yeah.
Normally I want them to appear in frame
And
then
that's,
disappear.
I can't say if it was like started right here or if it started way down there. I have no idea.
I'll definitely take a note to watch where we are and kind of and do it frame by frame, because if I can see wings in there from an insect and so forth and so on, you can obviously see it even when they're like mid-flight.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's why I love this camera so much. And I will tell you, the biggest orb I've ever caught in my years of doing this with that camera, by that wall. It was intelligent. It was bigger than my head, came towards me, stopped, twisted, went up, and disappeared.
To go stand by the wall.
Or film by the wall.
Yeah, I don't know, wanting to film on that one.
Yeah, you and I haven't really had a chance to chit chat either.
Yeah.
So
I'm just trying to stay back
I
and
hate
like
to say it, but Erika, like, she's got a lot of questions. Like,
she
she's
does.
good.
Yeah,
I
she does.
love when people bring that to me because A, it brings me on my toes. You know,
Mhm.
she's waiting for me to come up with some woo-woo answer, and I don't have those. It's just
Yeah.
not what I do.
Yeah.
So I like to bring that. I don't have that direct answer. It's why I do this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this stuff fascinates the hell out of me.
Oh, me too. I've scared the crap out of my kid because you would believe me. I've had one that has followed me for several years.
Okay.
Finally, she went away. Like, she's not there anymore. But
A
like,
lost relative, maybe?
I don't know. She was young. Like, I saw her feet one time.
Okay.
But she would turn my computer on. Like, back when we had the tower, like, I would hear the button click
Nice.
where she would push it.
Yeah.
And then when I bought my first house, before I had her, my dog would go into what would have become her bedroom, and he would never growl at really anything, but he had very distinct, like, protective growl and then, like, playful growl.
Sure.
He would go in that room and stare at the fan, and just this awful, like, scared me growl. And he would stare at the fan and growl, and the fan would barely spin. Well, my ex-husband's sister always claimed to be a medium, and she came in and was like, no, you have something here that is not happy. And then when she was born, she was probably probably 2. And I still had the baby monitor on so I could hear her playing. And she started yelling in her bedroom, and she's like, don't come close to me. Don't come close to me.
It's because we're not preconditioned to get rid of
Right.
that stuff.
And I was like, baby, what are you doing? She's like, the fan. It's the fan. And to this day, she's terrified of ceiling fans.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Mhm. So no, I'm a hardcore believer. I don't
I
always
have no doubt.
see things. A hardcore believer.
Erika, what do you have? You look very focused.
I'm trying to get some answers, but nothing's really. I got rat too.
It's Remy. I'm gonna pull out my app. I told her I have that app on my phone.
Do you have the paid version or the cheap?
No, I have the cheap
It's
one.
$3 for life.
Oh, good to
So
know.
let me show you the difference. So the difference, obviously the ads go away. You have 1,820. I have 9,100.
Oh.
For
Why
three-
can't they add more words? Like, why can't the whole dictionary be in there?
170,000 words in English language.
But can't they just put them in?
Well, the app calls it for an upload. Like for it to like turn on when it's out. That little device that they actually invented for ghost hunting only has 2,000 words.
And what's it picking up again?
Radio frequencies. That's what these are at the top. So it's listening to the radio just like the girls are.
Yeah.
So if it finds something out of that 900, 9100 word dictionary it recognizes, it goes on the screen. That's why it's only 20% accurate.
So it's like static and then a word appears.
Yeah.
And it's more static. Okay.
Yeah, it's just scanning through it. This thing like growls and does all kinds of stupid sound effect bullshit. We don't need all that. We just need the word list. You can see that they're not all scary terms, but the word cousin is actually relevant to get it. I'm not surprised that you have it, but the cousin of Charles Pinkney, another Charles Pinkney, is very, very helpful.
So where's the cemetery? Behind this wall?
So we have two. So there are actually east and west. So the reason why is because the graveyard, this is a cemetery that's a graveyard. The main Charles Pinkney is very
Now.
What is happening now? What did you hear?
Help me.
What do you
Sounds
need
like
help
breathing.
doing?
Now. And breathing. And help.
Why do you need help?
Completely quiet. Playing with Mike. Don't walk in front of my camera.
I thought you're supposed to.
No.
Always have somebody in front of the camera.
For Were you on a ship? Yes? 3-5. Did you hide? Did you hide on a ship? Did you have a baby?
What happened to your baby? What happened to your baby?
Not too much.
What number did we hear?
Back stab.
Was it 83?
I didn't hear a number.
And then
Oh,
I
there
had
was a very clear number.
And then I had blood sucker.
At all costs?
And then there was a Noah Khan song that popped in for a second, and I don't remember what the lyric was.
Not the lyric, not the artist.
Yep.
Anything weird coming out of
I forgot the number. It said a number and I forgot the number now. It was either 80. My pleasure. It was 83 or 38.
What's your first instinct?
83.
Okay.
But then 7 keeps popping in my head.
Okay.
Can you just repeat the number for me? Because I forgot it.
Yeah, 7 shows up here a lot, and it's usually in doubles. Tony, you didn't hear any of this?
No, I have a hard time hearing.
I also thought I
Give
heard.
you some
Oh,
notes?
yeah, no. He's not very good at listening.
They're just so fast.
Right.
And it's so, like, sporadic and fast. But we heard now.
We did hear now.
Okay.
We heard.
She thought she heard.
I thought I
help me.
heard "help me" and breathing.
Okay.
And then I asked if you were on a ship, and it got really busy, but it was also very staticky.
Okay. And not much you can make out of it.
Too sweet. I got last rope and Auburn.
Ooh.
Were you asking anything?
I asked the hair color, and it gave me rope and Auburn.
Like a blondish brown or reddish brown.
Yeah. Any numbers I need to know about, Phillies? No? Nothing? And what do we have as far as the beach board? Anything going on there?
I got legs.
Leg and egg?
It was like
Charles.
similar.
Charleston radio station.
Oh,
Yeah. That 843, because that's our area code, I throw that shit out. Too easy.
that could the 83. Maybe it was.
Could be.
Could have debunked that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine, nothing else?
Just studying the Jets playing.
What else you got? Anything? Okay. So, I think it's fair to say we probably have a dud going on here. Am I correct? Yeah, we can agree to that?
Yeah.
Alright, let's head over to the wall. I'll give you the quick answer to this location, and I will explain our last location because it is not in the same fashion of what we've been doing. So cameras, I would say it's fair to say you can go ahead and report. I wanted him to write about what was going on the battlefield when he got back here to Charleston. That's exactly what he did, but he started writing poetry. He became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. So it's a pretty big title for writers, in case you weren't familiar. Now, he has a son a couple years after he's been publishing some poetry in our newspapers, and the son's name is Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, but he died 9 months later. So it's very sad for him and his wife Katie. They're mourning. Henry's not writing as much, and he has a friend that realizes he's not writing as much. He's also a writer. His name is Paul. He offers him his cottage in Columbia. He says, go out there and get back on track. He goes out there, and that's where he wrote his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality, which today's translation is, dear person with a short life. And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. He died right there, age 38, pen in hand. However, as sad as that may be, we're here because of that blood stain. It looks like a man writing at his desk. Someone's going home. So we call it the Blood Book. They only show it one day a year at the Charleston Library Society. You have to be a member of the society to be able to go see it. The internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you guys what this blood beige looks like, and then we're going to go talk to them as if he's Henry Timrod. Something else I was going to tell you guys too. Oh, by the way, so I'm going to need family members nearby for the people that are going to be blindfolded, because they're not going to be able to hear me. They need to know if they're talking too loud. So volunteer from this group, the large group, can stand near Berlin because she's going to be loud. You guys, she'll have the signal. You guys already know this, right? You're already giggling about it. So they'll get a tap on the shoulder if they're too loud, and I'll explain this to them. But when we're done, you're going to tap them on the leg. Tim can hear me, so he can obviously take off his own stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind. This is your blood stain that you guys can huddle around on this one if you guys want, so I can zoom in. That is his blood stain that he left behind. It looks like a man writing at his desk. So you guys are all kind of seeing that. And this to me just tells the whole story. Beholder, brief mortality, cough, death, and there's your blood stain. And yes, they show this underneath glass once a year on Halloween. And you have to be a member to be able to go see it. So, good creepy story for us to end with, starting off with a football player and ending on this. I figured as much. Alright, everybody knows their role, man. Let's do this. We'll talk to you, Bruce. What do you have?
Well, yeah, you're supposed to break it. I know you can put my ear.
I'm gonna sit while I record them.
So here's what to expect. You guys are literally going to be telling me everything that you're hearing in real time. So as you hear it, say it. That's kind of how this works. Now, a family member will be nearby. In the event that you're too loud, then it's going to be you. Because I already know you're going to be too loud. You're going to get a tap on the shoulder. Lying down. I have neighbors here. We don't want to piss them off. When we're done, we're going to tap you on the leg. That means you take off your own blindfold and your headset and don't get up. So don't need to see your ass falling on the ground if you've been blindfolded for 10 minutes. That's how long we'll keep you under. So you're going to literally say everything you hear.
Okay.
Yeah, literally everything.
Do you want it so that like we can still hear you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I want it so loud you
So
can't
like
hear it.
everything.
Everything. If you hear it, say it. And it's like that. And again, the yes, no is because you don't know what I'm asking. I might ask for a ghost if I'm wearing a black vest. I'm expecting one of you to say yes. That's the point?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's the whole point. You're going to be seeing images soon. You're going to explain what those images look like. They're not going to be able to hear you. So make it nice and simple. 3 people, bench, tree. If they're not saying much, I don't think that's going to happen with Berlin. I may ask you probing questions. Like, hey, what's the time period? What are those people wearing? What's their race? That kind of thing. Have you ever done this without me before?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not like the Jurassic Park eating your face, that kind of thing. So you're going to see the galaxy off in the distance, and the picture will show up in front of it. Explain the picture in front of the galaxy.
Okay.
So I put the galaxy in there just so you guys don't fall asleep. So try not to look down, because you'll hit multiple buttons, and all you got to do is look straight ahead. And then just make a nice move. Blindfolds down, headphones on, get it nice and loud, and I'll start the timer when I say speak so slow. Don't worry about it. This color is the blue banana. You guys hear me?
Wait, when did we start?
Now. Now.
Wait, when? What? One.
Yeah, we're going to need somebody nearby or a family member who's the volunteer. Wow, nobody's volunteering to help out Berlin.
I got it.
But you might want to just, oh, there you go. You can stand behind her. Henry Timrod.
Being there for people.
Henry Timrod, if you're here, can you give us
Right? Are we supposed to be starting?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear.
Yes.
Winter.
Henry, if you're here, I want something
Never
about
happened in his life.
something about your occupation, please. Can you tell us what you did for the
Hey, state.
Or this could be either really good or really bad. Henry? Maya?
I think you got me.
Berlin?
Never hear from them again. If you change,
Dr. Ladd, if you're here, you know what the
if
code
you're
is.
healthy, 4.5. Only one thing I Something die.
It's getting a little loud. You might want to get
This
near
is
one.
where he's going. My lord. Settling.
Henry, your occupation.
Get up.
Nice and simple. Henry, tell us when you do the whole thing. Just show us an image. Your girl's going to be really good at this.
I don't think you can. A Roman. Ketchup. Learn more at medical center.
Dr. Ladd comes with you.
Rations.
parents, relatives of Doctor? Only his code word for us to leave it to this home.
That's lit.
Woodrow Wilson.
Kid
Yeah,
from
that's
TV.
cool.
This is Galaxy.
Finished. Look at the neighbor.
Apply Jesus.
Appetizer word.
In fact, let's just do the Christianity.
On my way.
We've been on there for about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes left.
Look around.
I don't know. Directed you. Where is it?
Attic.
I will show you, but I can't.
Henry,
Well done.
when you come to the green box,
In
show
this
us your
section.
occupation.
In this section.
Henry, the green box, there's some kind of images there. Why don't you fall asleep in this?
This is your local.
American Bills. Jamaican. George Washington.
You guys know where you're at?
Houdini.
This is George Washington Park. That's not
Miller Lite beer.
We've had it here before.
Guns Numan. Workout.
The manner of your dead.
Oh Jesus.
You got something?
Applause. Saved by East Coast Mental Center.
Henry?
Wake up in the
For
morning.
anyone he's struggling with. Guys, someone is. What? When you get those words. Weekend. Down. No, I didn't say it. Why can't we do your line that's fightless? I can't have this. God.
Right where your index finger is?
You owe thousands of patients. This is what they do. 7 heights. Not amazing. Where the song
Is she? Dr. Lab, can you come forward and give us your
Statue
address?
of Brick.
What was your address, Dr. Lab?
Mortuary school.
Where did she come
All the
from?
donations. United.
Did you bring her? Crucifixion, mortuary school. Henry, we're going to wrap this up. You're not giving us much.
You need a local fight. It's
Damn it,
really
Henry.
important.
Henry, still looking for something like your occupation, verify that you're here. Dr.
For
Lab,
your storage, you count as ugly.
I'd like to hear your address.
Market Ford. My father's name.
Health and wellness.
Go along.
Our medical force.
Right.
Close to you.
Specific word right. Henry?
Show your appreciation. All words will refrain.
Oh, what?
Will reframe.
You just said
Pressure
right, and then
in.
show your appreciation, and then words were something. I didn't catch what it was.
Looking through.
All right, I'm going to read a stanza
1-800.
from your work.
All words
Show
were
my
afraid.
appreciation. And then we're going to
This
wrap it up.
week.
You want to tell us good night?
I was like a man growling.
We know not. In the temple of the faith, God has
I
inscribed
want you
her
to
doom.
experience this.
All our troubles in her faith
Rolling.
waits. The triumph.
Just a few.
And it's in all
Something personal.
take that thing off your face. Okay,
I think you have to tap her leg.
okay. Alright, let's see this one crazy.
Who rubbed my head?
Me. Sorry.
Why'd you?
Didn't tell you to stop.
When you were rubbing it.
Okay, so it just got really weird with everything that you just said that came out. So we didn't have a whole lot going on of anything. You were giving us all this dark. So you gave us like mortuary job, and I'm like, what is happening right now? So I'm going to show you guys the one image that Tim had. Looks like he had two. Oh. The one you probably saw was not a forest. So everybody kind of together because I can't make this like super huge. No, you're fine.